Hi, welcome to the Fabric UI overview. This is the UI you will see once you log in for the first time. Since you don't have a dashboard, you will be greeted with a dialog to create your first dashboard. One option is to create one dashboard from scratch. This is recommended if you know how to create a dashboard. In this case, you will give a title, select the extensions you want to load. Each extension adds some new functionality. For example, you can add extensions to use different kinds of sources. You can change the theme, or you can load different extensions for different kinds of widgets, like the basic widget, which is selected by default, 3D widgets, data grid, e-charts, maps. Otherwise, if you don't know a lot about Event Fabric and you just want to explore it, you can go to the Load Example tab and select one of the pre-made templates, which show examples for either complete dashboards or for specific features of Event Fabric, where you can play with them, make modifications, see how they work, and if you want to start again, you just remove the dashboard and create a new one. Let's start with one pre-built dashboard, so we see Event Fabric running. Here we have one of the templates which displays some different kind of features, for example 3D widgets, map widgets, some e-charts widgets, and the base widgets available on the pre-selected extension. On the left, since we just started, we have the left panel expanded. On the top we can switch between dashboards, and the name of the current dashboard is displayed. In this case we only have one, so it's nothing to display. Then we have the design menu entry, where we can go to our event flow designer, where we can play with the different nodes on the flow. In this case we have a source, a sample source in this case, which generates events every, I think, 5 seconds. If we click on the bubble here that increments every time an event is generated, we can see the content of each event separated by this bar here. We can see the channel where the events come from, the username, the time when it was generated, some metadata and unique ID, and on the value field the actual content of the event. In this case we can see we have some random number, amount, name, continent, country code, city, and value. Then we have the state loader. What we call state loader is a node that will run once the dashboard loads, and it will load a recent stream of events for one or more streams. In this case we are loading a sample stream, so you don't have to have an actual stream to play with. If we right click on any of these nodes, we get some icons, some actions we can do. This is to edit settings, this is to connect to a node, for example like this. If we right click on a connection, sorry, we can cut the connection. This icon is to remove this node and all the connections it has. And in this case, for the state loader, we have this play button, which is available on other node. Also, if we click it, it will run the same action it runs when the dashboard loads, but at the moment we do the click. So we can replay events if we are trying some logic, or if we want to see what will happen with the logic we have when the dashboard loads, we'd having actually to reload the dashboard, we can just click play there. On the source it's the same, settings, connect, remove, and in the case of depending on the sources you can set permissions. This is available right now on the Event Fabric sources, where you can say this source is available for this user, for all users, or for anyone. This is when you share a dashboard, or if you want to share a particular source to other users. Then we connect the source and the state loader to a hub, which in this case is configured to be broadcast. You can see another video about the hub on our YouTube channel that explains the difference between each, or you can load the template for the hub node on the dialog we saw before, where it explores all the alternatives. In this case it's set to broadcast, but you can set it to join or run robin. Then it goes to a lot of adapters. Adapters have an input and then apply some logic, and then with that logic applied to the incoming event generates an output event. Let's see some of them. For example, if I click settings on an adapter, I go to this which is our visual language. On the left, as usual, we have a panel with blocks by categories. But if you don't want to start from scratch, you can also use templates we provide for commonly used actions. This is for commonly used actions that you can apply to any kind of adapter. But if you are, for example, connecting an adapter to a data view, you have the node templates data view, and for each widget you have loaded, according to the extensions you loaded, you will have one entry for each, and it will give you templates for the required and optional fields for that data view. We also provide templates for endpoints and for the query node. On this designer, of course, you can add stuff. For example, let's add color by threshold. We just drag and drop it and connect it here. We can move it up. We can remove or rearrange stuff. And we also have these buttons. OK is to save the current logic. Cancel is to not save it. Show input will show the current stream of events flowing into this adapter in case we have some connection to this adapter. So we can see what's coming in and the fields. And output preview will show what would happen to the current inputs if the current logic was applied to that input. This means we can see the effect of the logic we are programming without having to actually save the logic and go outside and see what happens. So you can make a modification, see if it works, see if it doesn't work, and play again. In this case, we will just cancel. Or just one more thing. We have auto completion, so you don't have to remember the names by memory, or you don't have to check the names and show input. You can of course also, but in this case, let's see, I don't remember what it was. Let's set it to country code. So I will click cancel because I don't remember what changes I did. And on the widgets on the data view side, we have settings. Of course, the settings depend on the kind of data view you selected. Let's see how that is done later. You have a simple configuration and more general configuration. Normally, if you just click OK with the default settings, it will work. But if you want something specific, you can come here and configure it to your needs. And let's see how this is done. So for example, I want to add a new widget. So from the left, I click, drag and drop a widget. I can set a name to it. I don't know, a new sticker for this case. I can see it's translucent. This means it's not configured at the moment. So I right click on it and go to settings. I select the kind of data view I want. In this case, it's a new sticker. I click OK, and now I have the settings for the data view. I click OK, and now I have it running. If I can connect, for example, a transformer for it. Let's just disconnect this and remove it. If I can remove it, of course, and this eye, if I click, it will highlight the current data view on the dashboard for 5 seconds with a red surrounding, so I can see it there. In case I didn't set a name for a data view and I have a lot of them and I don't know which one is which, I can see it there. Then we have, as I said, sources, adapters, filters. We have a dashboard template for filters, and we also have a video on YouTube for it. Data views I cover, state loaders I cover, timers. They will generate events. There are different kinds of timers, but the simplest one will generate a tick every 1 second, for example. There's a video for those two, a hub, which I explained here, and there's a video on YouTube too. Endpoints are ways to send events to different systems, either back to the Event Fabric server or to other systems, or even to do stuff like play sound or something like that. State holder is a way to keep state between events. For example, if I want to count or accumulate or calculate something based on all the events that come in and generate the state out, I can use a state holder. There's a template for it and a video for it, so go look at it. On the top right, whenever something happens, like a message or a notification or an error, this will appear with the number of things that happen. If I click on it, I can see what happened. In this case, it says that a notification appeared with no permission for these kinds of source at this point in time. So even if I don't see an error or I don't remember what it said, I can click there and see it. And if an error appears and it has more detail, I can see it there later. On this, if I click here, I can close and expand the menu. On the platform that support it, this is the way to toggle full screen, for example, on a tablet or on a browser. And so this was design. On new, I see the dialog I covered before. You can create a new dashboard or load examples. Edit is to edit the current dashboard. You can edit the title or change the extensions that you are loading. Remove is to remove the dashboard. You can say yes here, no, or before removing it, it's a good decision to back it up. You can download a backup of the dashboard and you can share it with someone else, or you can just keep it on your system to load it later. You can share dashboards. You can share a dashboard publicly, which means everyone can see it if they have the URL. Or you can share it only with authenticated users. This means users that have an account on Fabric. And you can of course stop sharing it. Layouts is a quick and easy way to change the position of data views on a dashboard. For example, it has preset ways of arranging them, and they adapt to the number of widgets you have, and you can also click on two and switch places between those two. This is a quick way to arrange widgets if you have many of them and you don't want to do it manually. But in this case, I click close, cancel, so it didn't apply. So you can play with them, and if none of the layouts are good for you, you can just cancel and it will go to the previous position. But if you want a more fine-grained way of arranging widgets, you can set view mode here on the left, and it will show a frame on each widget on a top bar. And on the bottom right, you can resize the widgets. You can move them, so you can manually place the widgets wherever you like. Let's make it smaller and put it here between these. And you can set a title. If you double click here, you can say SLAs and it will have a title. And when you are ready, you can set view mode again and it will remove all the frames. Then finally we have settings, which depending on the permissions you have on Fabric will show more tabs or fewer. If you are a common user, you can only set email and password. And then you can go to Fabric documentation or log out. This was, finally, before I finish, if you right click on data views, depending on the kind of data view, depending on the features it supports, you can see what you can do with the data view. In this case, before I had only the clear option, which is to clear the widget. In this case, I have two, filter and clear, which some widgets support. And filter will open a entry text field where you can write something, and it will live filter all the things that match what you are searching for. So it's a good way to explore widgets, to right click on them and see what options they expose. This was not so quick detailed overview of all the UI elements of Fabric. If you have any question, just contact us on our Twitter or Facebook channel or on the YouTube comments, and we will be glad to reply to your questions. Bye.